What if you woke up one morning, looked outside, and the trees, the grass, the flowers were all just gone? What if every single plant on Earth vanished silently in a single night? This wouldn't just mean the loss of parks and forests. This would mean life itself being rewritten. If the likes and subscribers are in, let's get into what would happen if every plant on Earth disappeared overnight. Plants are the silent architects of our planet. We never notice them because they don't move. They don't complain. They simply stand there. But behind that silence lies an enormous system holding up nearly every form of life on Earth. And if that system collapsed overnight, we would feel the consequences far faster than we could ever imagine. The first blow would come with breathing. Roughly 90% of the oxygen in Earth's atmosphere is produced by plants and phytoplankton. Through photosynthesis, plants take in sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide and convert it into oxygen. This process has been running as our planet's life support system for billions of years. The moment plants disappear, this production stops. The existing oxygen in the atmosphere wouldn't vanish immediately, but it would start being consumed. Scientists estimate that within a few thousand years, humans would no longer be able to breathe. But long before that, far greater disasters would have already unfolded, because hunger arrives much faster than oxygen depletion. Plants are the foundation of every food chain on land. Herbivores feed on plants. Carnivores feed on herbivores. Humans feed on both. The moment plants vanish overnight, this chain snaps instantly. Grain fields turn to dust. Fruits, vegetables, legumes, all gone. Supermarket shelves empty within days. Animals begin dying of starvation. And humanity faces a global famine unlike anything ever seen in history. Experts suggest that after plants disappear, humanity couldn't survive more than a few months. Finding food would become the most primal rule of existence. But perhaps the most unexpected disaster would come from the sky. Plants don't just produce food and oxygen. They hold water, anchor soil, and regulate the rain cycle. Forests work like massive water vapor pumps, helping clouds form. When plants disappear, this cycle breaks. Rainfall decreases. Rivers dry up. Soil loses the structure that roots once held together and begins to blow away in the wind. Within a short time, much of the world would start turning into desert. Just like Mars, a planet where rivers once flowed, now dry and desolate. Soil erosion brings another disaster with it. Without plants, soil can no longer absorb rainwater. This means massive floods and mudslides. Mountains erode. Valleys fill. Cities are buried under mud. Every achievement of civil engineering would crumble against nature's fury in the absence of plants. What about the oceans? The seas would take their share of this catastrophe too. Phytoplankton, microscopic plant-like organisms on the ocean surface, are the lifeblood of the oceans. Without them, fish, mollusks, and other marine creatures find no food. The food chain collapses underwater as well. And since phytoplankton produce roughly half of our atmospheric oxygen, the loss of these tiny organisms doubles the oxygen crisis. Over time, the oceans turn into dead waters. What would humans do? In the first days, there would be panic. Then governments would declare states of emergency and take control of food supplies. Scientists would work frantically in laboratories, trying to produce synthetic food, build artificial photosynthesis systems, preserve seeds, and plant DNA. Perhaps some plants could survive enclosed, controlled environments, underground greenhouses, plants grown under artificial light. Hydroponic systems, these would become humanity's last hope. But they couldn't feed billions of people. Survival would inevitably become a privilege. Within a few months, civilization would transform into something unrecognizable. Cities would be abandoned. People would migrate toward water sources and food storage facilities. Governments would collapse. Borders would become meaningless. Every great civilization in history has, in some way, begun its collapse with an agricultural crisis. Now imagine, this time the crisis is global, instantaneous, and irreversible. And here's the strangest part. When plants disappear, the world goes silent. Wind can no longer pass through leaves. Birds find no branches to sing from. Insects vanish. Animals fall quiet. In every corner of the world, people would encounter a silence they had never heard before in their lives. And in that silence, they would finally understand the magnitude of what they had lost. Because sometimes, you only hear something when it stops. The tree you pass by every day, the leaf in your morning tea, the oxygen you fill your lungs with every breath. All pieces of a vast system we are connected to without even realizing it. Plants don't speak, but in their every silence, they whisper life itself. As long as the world stays green, there is hope, before it's too late. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and hit the like button. More What If?